Imagine pulling into a neon-lit parking lot on a Friday night in 1976. The smell of fried chicken, burgers, and French fries fills the air. The booths are packed, jukeboxes play disco hits, and America is in love with fast food. But what if I told you that many of those once beloved chains, giants that seemed unstoppable, vanished almost overnight? From burger wars gone wrong to chicken chains that fried more than just food. Today we're uncovering the forgotten 1970s fast food brands that disappeared before you could say, "Would you like fries with that?" The 1970s were a golden era for fast food. McDonald's was rapidly expanding, Burger King was fighting back, and Pizza Hut was just starting to shape America's love for cheesy slices. But for every chain that became a household name, dozens more fell into obscurity. Some were too ambitious. Others simply couldn't survive the ruthless burger wars of the decade. Today we're taking a nostalgic deep dive into 5 chains that soared high in the 1970s, only to crash and disappear almost overnight. First up, Burger Chef. If you grew up in the 70s, you probably remember those orange and brown restaurants with the goofy cartoon chef mascot. Believe it or not, Burger Chef was once the second largest burger chain in America, trailing only McDonald's. At its peak, it had over 200 locations. In fact, Burger Chef invented the concept of the kids' meal, a toy with your burger and fries, years before McDonald's rolled out the Happy Meal. For a moment, it seemed like they were going to win the fast food wars. So what went wrong? Corporate mismanagement. Despite their innovations, the parent company kept cutting corners. Franchises complained about poor support, food quality dropped, and by the early 1980s, Burger Chef collapsed. Most locations were sold off to Hardee's, and the once bright orange logo quietly disappeared. Next, Gino's Hamburgers. Founded by football star Gino Marchetti, this East Coast chain was a sensation in the 60s and 70s. Their slogan, "Everybody goes to Gino's," rang true especially in Baltimore and Philadelphia, where lines wrapped around the block. They even partnered with Kentucky Fried Chicken, so you could get a bucket of Colonel Sanders' famous chicken alongside your Gino's burger. It was the ultimate 1970s dinner hack. But then came the buyout. In 1982, Marriott purchased Gino's and converted most locations into Roy Rogers restaurants. Overnight, the Gino's name was gone, and for locals, it felt like a hometown hero had been erased. Now here's one you may only vaguely remember, Minnie Pearl's Chicken. Yes, named after the famous country comedian Minnie Pearl, complete with her signature hat and price tag. At first, it looked like the perfect rival to KFC. Investors rushed in, opening hundreds of locations almost overnight. But there was a catch. The food wasn't very good. Some restaurants served greasy, undercooked chicken, and quality control was basically non-existent. Worse, the company expanded too fast without the infrastructure to support it. Within a few years, Minnie Pearl's Chicken collapsed in one of the biggest franchise disasters of the 1970s. By the 1980s, the chain had vanished completely. Now let's talk about Lum's. This was the chain that dared to be different. Their claim to fame was hot dogs steamed in beer. At its peak, Lum's had over 400 restaurants across the country. They were quirky, colorful, and stood out in a sea of burger joints. But while the idea was fun, the business behind it was shaky. In 1971, Lum's was purchased by the owner of Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, who thought he could turn it into a national powerhouse. Instead, the company overextended, lost focus, and by the late 70s, Lum's filed for bankruptcy. The beer dogs were gone forever. Finally, Henry's Hamburgers, a chain you may never have heard of, but in the 1960s and early 70s, they were everywhere. Backed by an ice cream company, Henry's offered burgers, shakes, and fries in a near-identical format to McDonald's. At its peak, Henry's had over 200 locations, more than Wendy's at the time. But while McDonald's and Burger King invested in branding, mascots, and national TV ads, Henry's stayed small time. As the burger wars heated up, Henry's just couldn't keep up. One by one, the locations closed until only a single Henry's remained in Michigan, a ghost of its former self. And just like that, Burger Chef, Gino's, Minnie Pearl's, Lum's, and Henry's all vanished. For some, it was bad management. For others, a corporate buyout. And for a few, it was simply the brutal truth that in fast food, only the strongest survive. But here's the twist. These chains may be gone, but they're not forgotten. Their menus, mascots, and jingles still live on in commercials, collector's items, and in the memories of anyone who tasted those burgers in the 1970s. So did you ever eat at one of these long-lost chains? Or maybe there's a forgotten favorite from your childhood that I didn't mention. Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip down fast food memory lane, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more nostalgic deep dives, and I'll see you in the next one.